What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. We have another interesting day on our hands. So I want to break it down, what's causing this fun day, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound's down 2.83%, 1148 the low, 1264 the high, and 14.8 million shares being traded. Of that, though, most of which are institutions selling. So these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. You see occasionally the buy, so anything with a ask is a buy, but everything else pretty much is institutions selling. So not necessarily the best, unfortunately, but a lot of this fear is because of several things. One of which is this right here. So this kind of popped up yesterday, even though we just had a shutdown kind of conclude a couple of weeks back. It looks like another one potentially is going to be on the table, slated for January 31st, 2026. Currently, there is a 43% probability of that occurring. Actually, I just checked, and I think the latest update is roughly around 47%. So it's kind of increased a little bit. So that is exactly not what the market wants, is another damn shutdown. Today, though, we do have a couple Fed speakers, and it's kind of gray. So ultimately, you're having Goolsbee, even prior to this, saying that he does feel that there's going to be numerous rate cuts in 2026. And then at the same time, he's saying that it's super important that the Feds maintain its independence, so monetary policy is set without political interference, clearly hinting at Trump just pushing rate cuts. This does, to me at least, seem that it's not going to be cuts anytime soon. That's going to be probably mid to late 2026. Or possibly even Q2. But still, this doesn't sound like it's going to be soon, and not to really rush the Feds. So the market doesn't generally like that. And plus, no different than what happened to Oracle and how that really impacted a lot of tech and AI stocks. We did have Broadcom, same type of fear. So that all in a fun nutshell is what is really affecting the broader market and SoundHound. There really hasn't been any news associated to SoundHound, nothing posted on social media. Actually, my apologies, they did post one thing on social media, but it's them just participating at some event. It's, again, one of many that they've done. They don't webcast it. It's still, it is what it is. But right now, you're seeing a lot of blood in the market. So Dow is down 0.48, S&P down 1.08, NASDAQ down 1.64%. Aside from all of that fun stuff, looking at shorts that are actually not doing all that much. And this is something that I feel like a lot of people see blood in the market and they instantly assume that it is shorts. People just become now accustomed to kind of just saying that. So shorts right now are only increasing 12,000 shares. So clearly that's not that big of a deal, because right now there's about 15.8 million shares being traded. So them increasing 12,000 shares, whoop-de-doo, is not anything. 30.15% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 114.19 million shares overall are being shorted, which technically does work out to be $1.38 billion. I know I don't really bring up that stat all that much, but that is a crazy amount. Aside from all of that fun stuff, looking at the options, 2.1 million in calls, 740,000 in puts, and then 49% of all the options being done so far are bearish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be kind of between that 1250 to 13, even going into next week. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub kind of 12 to 1150, so pretty much where we are at right now. With today being Friday, this is the open interest, so we do have 2,000 at the 1150, 4,000 at the 12, so nothing really crazy. You're not going to see any bump up, you're not going to see any gamma squeeze. Right now though, with it at 1172, it is trading between this pivot and this S1, so 1146 is going to be a strong support, and it kind of bounced off of that general area today, so 1148 the low. I was kind of watching it just bleed like crazy, and I'm okay with buying more SoundHound. So I actually do have some options expiring today. So I did sell some puts, 1150 strike price. If it does somehow dip again in the second half of today, like I said, I'm good with kind of buying more SoundHound, because take away all of the noise, I think SoundHound's still going to do a lot of good things in the foreseeable future. But 1146 is a strong support, and then 1223 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Realistically, I don't see that being touched today, but at least going into next week, just watch for that. And then as well over the weekend, just watch for my SoundHound video where I go over some expectations for this upcoming week, data points, and things that you need to be aware of. Aside from all of that fun stuff, quickly popping over here, this is NIO, so you guys don't care about NIO. Looking at SoundHound, right now, it does look like it wanted to actually be like higher and move higher today. But it did break below that 200-day moving average and also 10-day moving average. Looking at the stochastic RSI, it's somewhat neutral in nature, so not overbought nor oversold. So best case scenario, you have SoundHound fight back and get close to that 10-day moving average. But for a while now, like there really hasn't been any crazy volatile price action that's been kind of happening with SoundHound. But still, like I said, I think given the circumstances, SoundHound's actually holding up fairly well, considering institutions are selling quite a lot of it today, as well as on the dark pool through hedge funds as well. But nonetheless, I think we've been here time and time again. And I think just between this like $10.50 to $13 range, or even $14, that's that happy price point that SoundHound likes to be at before it potentially does really move higher. So this price action here was very abnormal, very attractive, but at least if we kind of zoom out a little bit, we can kind of see some very common trends. It's just during these time frames when it's selling off, so back in February all the way to April, when people are fearful, that seems to be the best time to buy. So again, these videos, I don't really care if you're buying or selling. I'm not getting you to do either of that, but sometimes you need a gentle reminder that when it feels like the world is ending, not necessarily today, but that's sometimes the best time to buy. And still, even like 1 or 2 months down the line, people might be wishing that they kind of bought today. So again, do whatever floats your boat. Aside from all that though, like I said, the technicals are kind of iffy, but there really hasn't been that much in articles really coming out. Aside from that, this one right here, I was going to review. I kind of saw it when preparing for it, but I want to do more of a deeper dive into it. But it does show positive report for SoundHound from Mizuho. And so in case you don't know, Mizuho lately hasn't really given much ratings or anything for SoundHound. So that does possibly mean that we might be getting a new rating coming down the pipeline. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. Are you buying the dip? Did you kind of get stopped out? That's also one thing that could be happening as well today. Is just the crazy volatility is because a lot of retail are getting stopped out, or they just want to kind of peace out and avoid the volatility and just whatever. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.